Okay, so we're gonna create 2 pages of a graded wash. And this is a way to learn about all the different colors on your color palette. So using this list of colors, there's 10 colors that you have going around the wells, basically, these little wells. And then kind of in the middle, if you don't have it, we're gonna be doing some Payne's gray because there's not an extra little well for it. So you're gonna have to kind of split your colors up, you know, kind of in half. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this one sheet of paper. And this paper is textured, so that's why it says cold press, because I wrote that on here. The sheet that is not textured, that's smooth, this is your hot press paper. So think about like a hot press or an iron smoothing out the texture, which is why it's called hot press. All right, so I want you guys to make columns of each color. And so you can see I got lemon yellow all the way to ultramarine blue on one sheet. So go ahead and start listing your colors if you haven't already done that. Right, so write out lemon yellow, and you can check it off of your list. And then yellow medium, red light, medium red light, cobalt blue, and then ultramarine blue. Then on the next sheet of paper, I'm going to go ahead and work on that one with you on my hot press paper. Zoom out a little. Okay, so now I'm going to start with permanent green. And you can abbreviate if you need to. Permanent green, and then viridian green. Yellow ochre. By the way, what I'm writing with is a micron, and microns are really great to use with watercolor because if water gets on this, it won't smear it. Yellow ochre. And then your brown is a burnt sienna. And then Payne's gray. Okay, so now we're going to do a graded wash of each of these. So a graded wash, here's an example of what it should look like. It's basically just a value scale using watercolor. So you're going to be really vibrant and dark with that one color, and then just use water to try to get it to be as light as possible. So let's go ahead and start on the left with permanent green. We're going to use our round brush. And then it's good to have something absorbent. In the classroom, I'm going to give you guys a paper towel. That way, if you have a mistake, you guys can dab it or lift that up. Once that dries to the paper, though, it's permanent. So in my studio, since I'm home, I always have like an old kitchen towel that I use as a rag. But if you're in the classroom, you want to have a paper towel. All right, so I'm going to try to show you the stuff. So you want water, and then my permanent green is right here. Okay, so you want to first start by getting your brush wet, right? So dip your round brush in the water. Go ahead and awaken or reactivate your watercolor. And then start with that pigment. Kind of go down a little bit. Now I'm going to try to wipe that color off. And now I have a brush of water. Go right back into it, pull it down. Same thing, kind of swish the color around to get some of it off. Just get water, pull that color down. Same thing, swish the color off, just get water, pull it down. So you should see it start to fade. And again, our goal is to get it to be as light as possible. And I basically washed it all off that brush. Now I can go into the next one. Maybe get a little bit more water. That viridian green. So I want to get as pure pigment as I can to see that color be nice and intense. Swish it off. You can wipe it if you need to. Water. Swish it off. Wipe it if you need to. Water. So again, this is your graded wash. It's basically a gradient. Ugh. Okay. water, water. Yellow ochre. I'm going to keep going. I might want to wash that green off. So when you wash your brush, you want to tap it on the bottom of your water container. And that gets it off. All right. Yellow ochre is kind of like a mustardy brown. Reactivate that dry watercolor. Get that nice intense color. Now swish, maybe wipe, water. Swish, wipe, water. If you get too much water on here, it does create this kind of pooling effect, which some people don't like, but that's a part of watercolor, so I don't mind that. Swish, wipe, water. All right, next I'm gonna go burnt sienna. Get water, reactivate that color. Swish, wipe, water. Swish, wipe. I'm wiping so I don't have a pool of water. Oh, that faded really fast, didn't it? Okay, and I'm going to go Payne's Gray. I'm going to wipe that, clean that brown off. So my Payne's Gray, I don't have a well for. It's just kind of sitting up on the middle here. But it's a very cool bluish gray color. We're not going to use black when we paint, but we can use this dark Payne's Gray color. Okay, so you want to kind of pull this down. Swish, wipe, add your water. Swish, wipe, add your water. All right, so this paper, by the way, it had the watermark embedded into the paper, and that's kind of what's showing up on the bottom there. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and do the cold press as well. So that's the hot press paper. Set that aside. I'm going to go cold press. So if you're doing yellow, you definitely want to clean your brush. Yellow's your lightest. Not a lot in here. And again, if you go right on top of that micron, it's not going to smear it because it's that waterproof ink with the micron. Swish, wipe so you don't get a pool of water. Swish, wipe. Trying to pull it down. Swish, wipe. This is a lot different than the hot press. It's like I have to force it to pull down a little bit more. Okay, and I'm already all out of color. So now I'm going to go yellow medium. Kind of more of an orangish yellow color. Get your solid color on the top. Swish, wipe, pull that color down. Swish, wipe, pull that color down. Swish, wipe. Okay, and it already faded. I already did the red light. So now we're going to go medium, which is kind of your darker red. Swish, wipe, pull, swish, wipe, pull, swish, wipe, pull. And on this paper, you kind of get more of a texture. It looks like dry brush where you don't have a lot of paint on your brush. Pull, swish, wipe, pull. All right, so let's do the blues. So your cobalt is your lighter, and your ultramarine, or if you have phthalo blue, that's going to be your darker. Okay, you got your color. Swish, wipe, go back into it, pull it down. Swish, wipe, go back into it, pull it down. That one faded a little too fast. Let me see if I can get more color going. Swish, wipe, pull, swish, wipe, pull. Okay, ultramarine, it's your dark blue. Again, if you don't have this and you have phthalo blue, it's another dark blue. Swish, wipe, go back into that, pull it down. Swish, wipe, go back into that color, pull it down. Swish, wipe, go back in, pull it down. All right, so if you have an area where the two wet watercolor touches each other, that's actually a technique called bleeding in watercolor, where one color is going to bleed into the next. So don't freak out if that happens, okay? It's a thing. All right, so this is how you do your two examples of graded wash. Boom. Oh yeah, and then your paintbrush, you want to kind of just get the watercolor out. So you just kind of dab it into the bottom of your cup or run it through the faucet till the water runs clear.